Welcome to Fake It Till You Make It and Then What? This is a conversation about being a mom, a wife, an author, and my journey through life. Welcome. What is new? What is up with you? What's going on? So today, what am I thinking about? I am thinking about Halloween. When I'm recording this podcast, we are just past Halloween, and our family goes out and does all of the social things. So a week ago, the elementary school had a carnival and the high school did a trunk or treat. And then on the day, Halloween, we took two of the girls out trick-or-treating, but it was different. When my oldest was a kid, there were a lot of kids out trick-or-treating. And so maybe somewhere in there, post-COVID, it changed. It's just different. I don't know. It feels different. There were less kids, different kind of kids. And so we went. We had fun. So what about you? Do you celebrate Halloween? Do you not celebrate Halloween? What are your thoughts on it? There was a period of time where we didn't really do anything for Halloween, or one of the local churches had a huge fall festival, and the kids could wear their costumes, play games. There was fair food, and it was just a really big festival as an alternative to going trick-or-treating, where kids could be, doing mischievous things, or, bad people could be out. And so it was a good alternative. And also it was a Christian event. And so there would be people walking around, and if you didn't know Jesus, you would get the opportunity to, have the prayer of salvation, or if you just needed prayer, someone would pray for you. So that was a really cool thing that we used to do. But tell me about you. Send me a post or an email, and let me know what you do in the fall, what you do for Halloween. Do you decorate? Do you not decorate? Do you dress up? Do you hand out candy? What do you like to do? Something I want to talk about now is my wife life, what it's like to be a wife for me. So, okay. Do you ever see someone, meaning your spouse, do something, and then you're reminded of your childhood? Okay, let me explain. So I'm in the kitchen and I'm watching my husband. He's rinsing out his dish. He just finished eating, so we rinse out our dishes and put them in the sink until we clean, or put them in the in the dishwasher. So he runs water in his bowl, and then he pours what to me seems like a large amount of soap in the bowl to make bubbles. And I get this feeling running over me like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? But I hold my tongue, and I'm thinking, why am I getting this feeling? Why am I looking at the soap and like panicking on the inside? And so then I'm reminded of when I was a kid learning how to do the dishes. I was maybe 6 or 7, and I was in the kitchen of my childhood home, and I'm getting ready to pour the soap onto the dish rag so that I can wash the dishes. And my dad says, don't do that. You pour the soap in the dishpan, you run the hot water in the dishpan, that makes your soap bubbles, that's what you use to wash the dishes. And I was like, oh, okay. He walked out of the kitchen, and then I decide I'm going to go ahead and put the soap on the dish rag anyway. And as I'm putting the soap on the dish rag, he comes back in and he's like, what are you doing? And I jumped. You know how when you startle your kids and they jump and their eyes are all big. And at the time, I didn't know what was happening. You know, when you're a kid, you don't realize how your parents are watching and observing you. And I remember looking up at his face, and he kind of had this smile on his face, and I didn't understand it. I was like, why is he smiling if I'm in trouble? Like what? But now that I'm a parent, I understand he was laughing because he caught me, and it was just funny. So anyways, when I caught my husband putting soap in that bowl, I was reminded of my childhood, and I wanted to tell him, don't do that. That's not the right way. And I held my tongue also because I said, you know what? He is helping me clean up the kitchen. So if it means a little more bubbles in the sink, then we're good. So what is something that your spouse, your husband, your wife does that reminds you of something that happened in your childhood? Do you have a similar story where you clean a certain way and they clean a different way? Do you have a philosophy on how the dishwasher should be loaded? Because the dishwasher should be loaded a certain way. The forks should all be together. The spoons should all be together. The knives should all be together. The utensils should be together. And then if you have kids' flatware, that should be together. And the plates go in a certain slot and the bowls go in a certain slot. And you do have to clean before you put the pot in the dish, all of that. So do you agree? Do you disagree? What are your thoughts? I want to hear from you. Since I have shared a little bit about my husband, I also want to share a clip of a conversation that we had. Do you want to start?
No, I want to let you start. Ladies first.
All right. I was born near San Antonio, Texas, and I grew up spending most of my life in Texas. Graduated from high school in the Colony, Texas. And ever since I was little, I wanted to be an artist. I worked in retail. I did customer service, and then finally landed into being a supervisor. But I've always been an artist. I also had a company where I designed and sewed dance garments, did that for 10 years, made flags, did children's choreography, and was an assistant for a dance director. And currently I am a self-published author. So that's a little bit about me, where I'm from, and what I do.
Very nice. I, Mike, am the lucky husband of the beautiful Ty next to me. And I am from Weatherford, Texas. I grew up there on a 15-acre farm as a child. Those were the good old days. And grew up learning the farm life, doing all that fun stuff. When I was 12, when I was younger, I was been around a musical family, but when I was 12, I started taking it serious, and I knew I wanted to pursue a career in music, and that is what I did. And today I'm pursuing it still and having a great time doing it. I play guitar as my primary instrument, but I play a couple other things and produce music and just have a fun time doing it. Yeah.
What was the first instrument that you played?
First instrument that I played. There's a picture of me playing banjo with my grandfather when I was about 5 years old down at the courthouse on the town square in Weatherford. Yeah.
That's
long time ago.
My first instrument was piano. I took piano lessons for 5 years. And then in high school, I played clarinet.
I never did. I never understood why I didn't do band in school. it would have made more sense to do that so that I would have had a better understanding faster. But,
either band or choir, yeah.
Right.
You learn to read music and
I just
appreciate.
I had to do it all myself for some reason.
All right, so I have a question.
What is your question?
What does respect look like? What did respect look like to you maybe 10 years ago? And now, after living, what does it look like to you now?
After being married and having kids.
After being married, after working for a boss, for a company, how have your thoughts about respect changed? So let's start with what does respect look like?
I guess growing up, I always thought respect looked like, obeying your parents, doing the right things, whatever that looked like for you.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that was the way that you earned respect was, if your parents tell you don't go somewhere, you build trust, respect is earned is what was always taught.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way to gain respect was to earn trust.
I always thought of respect as yes, ma'am, yes, sir. We were taught respect your parents, obey your parents. And so respect was like, do what I'm told, do exactly what I'm told. And I think as time has gone by, I think respect is two ways. It's listening, and I think part of respect is compromise.
Yeah.
So when you have a conversation with someone, whether an adult or a child, you're hearing their concerns, their ideas, their thoughts, and then you have to make a decision on how to act on the information that you've received. And so I think over time, I've learned that respect is necessary for adults, but it's also necessary for kids. I know as a kid, it was less about us and it was always respect your parents, respect authority.
Mm-hmm.
But now, being the mom of 3 daughters, I think it's important that we give the children respect so that they learn it's a two-way street.
Right. And it's not, I don't know, parenting it just feels different than what we grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
And then not in a bad way. One thing I've learned through a little bit of therapy is that your parents are doing the best that they could at the time with the knowledge that they had.
Right.
And so all you can do is build off of that.
Right.
And when that's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm sure 20 years down the road, our kids are going to be like, you did this and blah, 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 blah. But when, you don't have that understanding until you get up there. But you said something that made me think about just culture in general, about hearing the other person and compromise.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like as a culture, we've lost that.
We're so quick to get our point across.
Yeah, it's all about me and I need you to hear me. And it's like, well, I can hear you. Like if everybody's focused on hearing each other instead of getting their point across, then everybody gets hurt.
Mm-hmm. We have to put as much energy into hearing the other party as we do in getting our views out.
Right.
We're so needy for acknowledge me, hear me, pay attention to me.
Right.
That we dismiss what else we hear if it doesn't sound like what we want.
Right. And everybody's so like, I have a voice. Yes, you do. But so does the other person that you're, trying to push down. Like,
right.
Everybody's got a voice. So respect is, like you said, it's compromise and hearing out. Hearing. Less talking, more hearing.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And so, family, we kind of mentioned how, respect goes both ways. A lot of times we learn respect from the interactions with our parents.
Mm-hmm.
And so what is family? Like, what did you think family was as a kid versus what it is now?
I have an interesting childhood. So family for me is different than what I thought it should be. I thought family was mom and dad living together, raising the kids. But for me, it was my grandparents raised me. Mm-hmm. My mom and dad are still in the picture. They were still in the picture, but my grandparents raised me. And
so you lived with grandma, grandpa?
Yeah. And so I had, I guess, I always looked at it in the positive as much as I could, because I said, okay, I've got 3 sets of parents who love me. I've got mom and stepdad. I've got pop and grandma, and then I've got my dad and stepmom at the time. And then, I was like, okay, some people just wish for just one set.
And you had 3 sets right there.
Right. So was it the ideal childhood? I don't know, but it's what I had, and I thought I turned out pretty good. So,
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Like, what is family? As a kid, you draw like the mom, the dad, however many siblings you have, and then whatever pets you have. Mm-hmm. Like, what does your family look like? And so for me, family was mom, dad, brother, sister, and we had dogs. Dogs stayed outside. We had cats that stayed inside. And now, 30 years later, so we have a blended family.
Yeah.
I have 3 daughters, and 2 of those daughters are bonus daughters for you. Mm-hmm. We have 1 together. I had my first daughter when I was 17, turned 18. So I was actually 18 when I had her. Graduated high school, had my first daughter, got married, had my second daughter, stayed married for 10 years, got divorced, got remarried, and had another daughter. So very blended family. And my grandparents lived far away from me. So there was always kind of this idea of grandparents. We knew of them. We liked them. We got to see them on occasion. Like, I wouldn't even say yearly. We got to see them a few times through our childhood because we didn't take a vacation every year. Mm-hmm. And so family for me was more of the immediate family.
Yeah.
And I think now, in my 20s, I was a part of 20s and 30s, I was a part of a dance team. And those ladies on the dance team really became my family.
Yeah.
And in a different way, with the family that you have, you don't get to choose them, and you get along or you don't get along. And then whenever someone goes off to school, that just changes the dynamic of the family.
Yeah.
And so when I was a part of this team, there were things that I was going through in life, and I received from these ladies just like I would from my immediate family, or a sister. So I think family is your tribe. I kind of like that word.
Yeah.
So whatever your group of people is that gives you emotional support, encouragement, it's the people that you call when something is good or when something goes wrong. So that's kind of how I see family now. And
it's interesting how you gain, just like with your real family, you gain and you lose family along the way.
You do.
You get little ones that come up, and then as the older ones pass, it's just kind of the same in your life and the seasons that you go through. Mm-hmm. You'll have a lot, people that I think the thing that makes us have those kind of families like that is we're going through a similar thing together. So we're banding together to try to figure out how to get through it together.
How to navigate it. Yeah. And we've had really good friends. And like right when you get to that moment, like, yeah, this is going to be a great friendship. And then they move.
Right. This is going to last forever.
We're going to be best friends. Right. And then they move. And you're like, why did you move? Why did you change? But, just life changes like that. And then too, whatever journey you're on, sometimes you can't see where you're supposed to be, and you never know sometimes certain families can be a hindrance, or they could be a crutch, or they might just be developing into something else. And so a message that we heard recently that was really good was called "Stay in Your Lane." And so you have to stay in your lane. And then as those families kind of come and go, you embrace them when you have them. And then whenever that time is up, you just celebrate those memories.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just part of the way it's interesting. Like, it's interesting the way God brings people in and out of your life for a season. People, jobs, everything. It just in and out for a season.
That's true, because you have a work family too.
Right.
You spend 8 hours a day or plus, with this group of people. How do you feel work family? What do you think about the dynamic of work family?
Work family is funny to me because work family is a lot like your real family. You really don't get to choose them.
Yeah. And they just become like your brothers and sisters.
Right. And you fight like brothers and sisters.
Right. Right.
Because you're so close all the time. And that, that's like when you're growing up, you're around everybody all the time. So, you're going to get on each other's nerves, but you're going to learn each other to a better degree. And so as much as, it can be a nuisance, and, a lot of us, I'm not going to say myself, but I just, it's kind of the joke, people and like the stresses with work and whatnot. It's, if you stop and think about it, you're going to end up being closer to those people, like I said, because you're with them every day. So if you can stop and look at the positives of that, it's actually some good in that, they're close relationships, whether you want them or not. And
you want to see them do well, and they want to see you do well.
Exactly.
And we all learn from each other.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed hearing us chat. There's a little bit more where that came from, but you're going to have to tune in next time to hear more of our conversation. One last thing. It's time for What's Your Favorite? And today's What's Your Favorite is, drum roll please. What's your favorite Christmas movie, and what's your favorite Christmas song? So for me, my all-time favorite is A Charlie Brown Christmas, and I love the Vince Guaraldi trio, just the whole album. Love jazz, love that Charlie Brown Christmas music. I could play it all year, but especially during the holidays, it's really fun to listen to. What do you like? Are you a comedy movie? Do you like Elf? Are you a Lifetime movie person? Do you turn on Netflix and watch A Christmas Prince? What do you like to see during the holidays? Are you Die Hard? Are you the animated? Let me know. Well, that's it for now. Thank you for listening in. If you want to connect, I'm on social media, Ty Ayers Allen, TYAYERSALLEN. Hit me up. I'd love to hear from you. Have a great week, and I wish you well.